Well, with season 14 officially out, it's nice to see a neighborhood of friendly faces again. Even if, because of things outside of our control, we're missing a few faces.
I do not want a grandfather clock!
And I do not want toilet paper.
And when I finished the new season, funny enough, the entire series for the first time, it got me thinking, and I put two and two together which probably shouldn't have been put together. So, in this video for the Borealis company, we're going to take a look at King of the Hill. More specifically, how it portrays human behavior during things like the COVID-19 pandemic in Season 4, Episode 10, Millennium.
I tell you what, man, them Y2K, man, them mainframes gonna come crashing down on that grid, man.
Okay, so Millennium is not directly about COVID. In fact, COVID is not name dropped until Season 14, which makes sense. But I believe it is instead about human behavior during times of crises. At the turn of the millennium, that was called Y2K. At the turn of the decade, it was called coronavirus, then COVID-19, then the pandemic, and then just COVID. And even though both of these events went down very differently, I found that because of Millennium, there were enough commonalities between the two that it made this older episode of a cartoon more relevant than it had any right to be. It was a great story that demonstrates multiple perspectives of an individual's behavior with a paranoid collective state. For those who don't remember Y2K or were too young to remember it like me, let me give you some comparison to help set the scene so you can understand the experiences of the characters and therefore the world at the time. Computers that were Y2K compliant would probably be demonstrated as Zoom in order for social interactions to be COVID compliant. Selling all that's left to the propane would probably be the equivalent of selling all that's left to the hand sanitizers, since it only makes sense that if the world's falling apart, you want to obtain as many resources as possible. And that aspect happens every time a scare like this occurs. Hell, Bobby got scared into becoming a toilet paper hoarder, which is absurdly crazy to me when you think about the fact that this episode aired almost 20 years before COVID was declared a PHEIC, or Public Health Emergency of International Concern, by the World Health Organization, and toilet paper hoarders became nothing but a joke 5 seconds after the world ran out. There's something to be said there. This kind of human behavior is more frequent and recurrent than we may realize. We just don't think about it retrospectively in the moment because in the moment, it's not fiction. But that's also why stories are so important. King of the Hill is by no means a documentary, but it's one of the best narrative time capsules that I've seen in a long time, and the character perspectives make it universal. We may not know Dale Gribble directly, I pity anyone who does, but we do know Dale Gribble as a caricature, someone who is a self-declared doomsday prepper only for their plan to prep for the apocalypse to backfire and maybe even literally eating itself. We may not know a Peggy Hill, but we do know the kind of materialists that Peggy Hill represents, that believe the best way to counter future events is with future-proof technology for the sake of preservation. Bobby may not be a real kid, although if Bobby was my kid, I would have given him lozenges every Christmas and birthday until he had the voice of a baritone angel. But we understand why he's so scared that he goes with the common beliefs of everybody else. We may not be Hank Hill, but we get and maybe even admire his effort for the search of normalcy in a time of paranoia. Which leads me to my favorite scene in the episode, which is probably one of the strangest scenes in the entire show. Basically, when Christmas morning goes south, Hank goes into the garage to coat a grandfather clock he gifted to Peggy with varnish. But he doesn't think about the fumes that would be emitted in an unventilated closed space. This causes Hank to pass out and have a dream where he's a whack-a-mole alongside Peggy, Bobby, and the first ever coach for the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, who's also his personal hero. Basically, because I can't show the full scene on YouTube, Hank is refusing to surface through the hole because he knows he's going to get whacked, while Peggy fully embraces it, and Bobby reverts to a fort made of toilet paper rolls and reverting to a baby-like state. And this is where Coach Landry's words of wisdom kicks in.
Every time I go up, I see a little more. Well, my turn again.
Yeah. Come with me. Everything is gonna be just fine.
Everything is gonna be just fine. And I love this line because of all the levels it works on. On the most surface level, it works because the function of a whack-a-mole is to surface, either get hit or miss the opportunity to get hit, and then return down to do it all over again. On a grander scale, and Hank's biggest takeaway, there's no point in worrying about the end of, in this case, the technological world, in our case, the world in general, because it'll pass. Everything will be just fine. On a real life level, the thing we had the most control over in COVID, and frankly, at all times, is our thinking and our ability to set our belief systems for the most productive and accepting mindsets possible. All that to say, King of the Hill, more specifically Helenium, reminds us that sometimes the only way out is through. And even though sometimes probably happens more than we think, we can choose to have it end the same way. Everything is gonna be okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this, consider watching this video, commenting about your favorite King of the Hill episode, and subscribing for more insights on storytelling. And I want to know, what one little thing, aside from the audio, I get the audio plenty, and I'm working on it. I finally got a pop filter. What about the writing? What one thing about the writing do you want to see changed and improved? Do you want longer videos? Do you want more researched videos? Do you want certain subjects? Maybe even on a micro level, do you want to see more King of the Hill episodes or characters? Let me know, because I'll keep doing what I love to keep doing. I'll keep working on subject matter that I want to keep working on, but I also want to get you guys involved, because your participation really does mean a lot.
Like a damn apocalypse now, man, and I'm lying on the horror.